Well, the time just got 9 a.m. and we are running a bit late with the news, but it's time of the week where we talk with the eThekwini Secure, and we've got Imtiaz Syed, Chairperson of eThekwini Secure on the line. Imtiaz, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Inayat.
Yes, Imtiaz. Well, in fact, it's wonderful being back again on air now. I've just returned from Cape Town, and one thing I looked at, I drove the length and breadth of Cape Town, looked at the various suburbs in Cape Town. I looked for one thing. I looked for potholes, and really, I
Yeah.
couldn't find a single pothole. And I just want to talk this morning about, our cities and how well our cities are actually run, and using Cape Town as a benchmark, we know it's a major tourist attraction, but also, simple things like traffic lights during load shedding that are still working. Whether the
Mm.
solar or battery operated at major intersections, you don't see the gridlock at traffic intersections. You can just generally maintenance, the cleanliness of a city, people feeling secure. You're looking at city policing that is, very, very features very, very prominently, and you see all of that, and it just takes out a lot of the pressure and a lot of stress that people suffer through on a day-to-day basis because of a well-run city. And we hope that major cities across the country can be run in that manner.
No, absolutely, Inayat. I think, just to get into the issue of service delivery in terms of what we really need on the ground, it comes down to basic principles of business management, right? We can't be looking at the city or a municipality per se in terms of how is it politically run. The political climate needs to stick in its lane, wherein it represents the needs of the people, right? And that currently is not happening because currently the political climate is not representing the needs of the people. It has selfish, self-interested needs, and it's continuing down that path. But when we're coming to the management of the city, we're going to have to realize at some point as a country that we need professional people to run our cities and manage our cities, from the city managers to the deputy city managers to the officials to the superintendents. It can't be deployment of people based on the fact that we know them or they're coming quite a while with us in a movement or things like that. And this is where our major issue is and our problem is the capacity of individuals within government departments that are supposed to be delivering services that don't have the actual capacity and capability of actually getting those things done. I mean, preemptive measures in terms of potholes. We can't just say that all of a sudden potholes appeared every 2 kilometers on a particular road. I mean, it's got to be measured. You would have known that we've done this road in 10 years ago, and at some point we need to reevaluate it and redo it and things like that. Those things are not happening. So everything at the moment within municipalities are kind of knee-jerk movements. When there's a pipe broken, we go and replace it, but only to come to know that that pipe's 50 years old and there was never ever any plan to replace it at all. So it's these sorts of things. I mean, you speak about robots and street lighting and all of these things during load shedding. Yes, they've originally, by virtue of how they operated, were originally on the same grid as your home lighting, and therefore in these cities we'd have it such that they would go off when we load shedding. However, when there's new a replacement of cables and things like that, there's no consideration from engineering side to say that this is what we need to do so that these things are not affected by load shedding, and it's actually the homes. So that's basically where we are and where we're coming from, to say that ultimately the city needs to reevaluate who its officials are, whether they have the capacity, and whether in fact we're moving forward or backward as a country.
Well, certainly it does. In fact, you're talking of, and I think in many instances in the rest of the country, we're actually moving backwards. And
Absolutely.
someone just spoke to me the other day and mentioned that some of the areas, these roads actually look like farm roads with all the potholes and the craters, and it's about dodging potholes, when he's driving, and all of this. And later on in the program, we're going to be talking about the impact of load shedding on mental health, and all of this is impacting on the mental health of people who are faced with this dilemma on a day-to-day situation.
When we're speaking about the economy and tourism and all of these nice things to have, we must remember that when we lack service delivery as a country, we tend to make firstly ourselves despondent in terms of investing anything further. I mean, right now, in all of us sitting, in the Middle Ages, even if we want to buy another property or move into a bigger home or things like that, we're currently thinking about whether it's worth the investment, whether we should just stay where we are. And based on that, the psychological impact of that would now speak to us not earning more, not wanting to deliver more, not wanting to be a part of the economy, or in fact, uplift our country per se. And that's creating a major, major issue amongst the majority of our average income communities across the city, including, I mean, KZN by far and large. If you look at the smaller towns are becoming like non-entities per se. The trade and industry within those cities used to be bustling at one point in time. And currently, right now, you'd see that those particular cities and those particular towns actually have very little income and actually are going nowhere quickly.
Yes, Imtiaz. But again, we have the capacity, we have the power to do something about it. And that, again, is at the ballot box. It's about
Correct.
making sure that you are voting in people, and you are not voting because of emotion and because of any baggage that you've been carrying over the years. And this is where, as citizens, we need to be absolutely sure in terms of where we are putting our cross when it comes to elections, whether it's on a local election or even when we're looking at
Correct.
national elections, which will be taking place
Correct.
next year.
Absolutely. When we were actually campaigning in we were quite clear that the place people get service deliveries in local government, ultimately the services that you require daily, meaning your CSW and your water and your sanitation and your roads and all of those things that you need daily, it gets delivered at local government. And you got to get local government right. And this is where everyone, they fail to realize that when you vote for a larger party within municipalities, you tend to be voting on a national ticket. Ultimately, whatever happens nationally with a particular party has to filter down within the municipalities. And this is something that we see politically happening currently, even up till today. We see that a national agenda is being pushed in local government within eThekwini. And that's what's happening. You know that in our province, we had a different provincial executive committee when we went into local government elections. And now we've got a different provincial executive committee, which brings a whole lot of changes within the municipality, wherein they want to move people out, they want to move deputy mayors out, they want to move mayors out. And that brings a great amount of instability in the climate of service delivery, because ultimately the officials fall a tier below the political climate. And if the political climate is not stable and speaking the same language, then ultimately the officials are going to notice that and take advantage of that, because there's no clear directive, there's no clear direction, and you can't really take anything seriously, because then we're just here to do a job and we carry on moving on. So basically, automated services is a thing of the past because of this particular situation.
Well, Imtiaz, Jazakallah for that. And as always, for your time with us here on Salam Media, we wish you all the best, and please take care. Assalamu alaikum wa
You as
rahmatullahi
well.
wa
Wa
barakatuh.
alaikum salam. Jazakallah.
Yes, Imtiaz Syed, eThekwini Secure. We are going to go for a quick break. We've got Zahid Jadwat standing by with the news.